What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Pound for Pound. I am the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman.
Henry Cejudo, a.k.a. Triple C.
A Shadow Line production.
Don't forget, Henry, we've got a big interview with the former two-division Bellator champion, Mr. Patricio Pitbull. But before we get to that, Henry, in other news, lots and lots and lots of big news being announced, lots of fight announcement. That's how I feel. But, hey, I'm still excited for these fight announcements. Henry, it was just announced again. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2 taking place in Newark, New Jersey, UFC 316. You did say this, Henry. You did say there's a potential of this being ran back, and yep, they're gonna run it back. They're gonna run it back. How you feel
not just that, dude, but also you also do have Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison.
Yes, of course. Kayla Harrison finally getting that shot to take on Juliana Pena. That's another banging fight. It's obviously what we've waited for a long time to see how is Kayla Harrison going to fare coming over and fighting the elite of the UFC. And I mean, she made quick work of former champion Holly Holmes and fought Caitlin Vieira, and now she's fighting for that title. I mean, how you feel about these? Before I give you my 2 cents, how you feel about these two fights?
Yeah, well, I think I think we all knew it, bro. It's Sean O'Malley was gonna get his rematch. It was the right thing to do to protect him, but I just feel like Sean has to get it done within the first 2 rounds.
What do you mean protect him? What are you trying to say?
But yeah, he's being protected, dude. Like after getting 50-45, does somebody really deserve a rematch after getting 50-45? Kamaru Usman, Kamaru Dean. Like no, you got 50-45. Get in the back of the motherfucking line and fight the Triple C. But he's not gonna get that. But the UFC, they like him. They like the teeny poppers. Like they want to get into that new generation. What's that new generation called? Generation X? What is it? Generation Z? Yeah.
Or Alpha? Is it Alpha?
No, hell, don't ever say that. I hope they don't fucking. Anyways, Generation Z. But Merab Dvalishvili he's pretty much gonna do the same thing. Level change strike. Maybe give it the first round and bring in the takedowns. It's the same thing. The question is, to me, Kamaru, could a guy like Sean O'Malley hit him to the body early, crack him to the face to get rid of him? He did hurt him to the body, I want to say in the 5th, and that's an indicator, man, the body could be open. And I think if Merab starts getting hit to the body, the fights he's gonna really pick up the pace. I can see Merab Dvalishvili actually stopping him this time around and just getting on top of him, just grinding upon him to a pulp.
I mean, you do make an interesting point. When you were beat 50-45, that kind of means you were dominated the whole fight. You didn't really pose any type of threat or danger. And so, yes, in most cases, that doesn't truly warrant a rematch. But obviously, like you, Henry Cejudo, have pointed out time and time again, it's not just a fighting, a promotional company. It's also an entertainment company. And so for that, as the companies, with the company in mind here, is what's the biggest fight they can make in that division? Merab has went out there and Merab has proved that he is the true champion and he can handle any style and anyone in going out there and fighting the dangerous Usman Nurmagomedov. But who else was there? Besides Sandhagen, who is scheduled to fight in May.
But that's exactly what it is. Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen was that fight to make because now he could say, I fought Cejudo, Jan, O'Malley, Baldo. Now you got Sandhagen in there. It's like, fuck, dude. If this dude could almost just start going up against until he just beats everybody in the top 10, which would be
your
something.
words. He's the greatest
Daddy?
ba- the greatest bantamweight of all time, right?
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
words.
yeah, of course. From the number of names that he's taken out, you don't have to have a belt to do that. And for the gesture that he was doing it for his friend, I mean, fuck. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a nice little resume too, like big names under my name, but he was able to do that shit consecutively in there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what Merab has done, and I feel like it was a big mistake. And not necessarily a big mistake, but he's running into that position where if he does lose to O'Malley, like they're not gonna give him they're not gonna give him a rematch, bro. They will not.
No,
They
absolutely
won't.
no. There's no way. There's no way.
They
There is
won't
no
get.
way you can say that they wouldn't give him a rematch. I disagree with you on that
All
because
right, let's put some stacks on it then. If
uh,
that's how confident you feel on it,
what's up? What you want? What you got?
about 50 racks.
50 racks?
Yeah,
You have 50,000?
it's not about $50. I got
Hey,
kids,
I
Chris.
don't know if you
I
understand the
got kids. Dude,
terminology here.
I'm making that
I don't know,
Hollywood money,
but
bro.
yeah, I don't know if you
Mr.
understand the
Black
terminology here. A
Panther.
rack is $1,000. A stack
I was
is
talking
also
about
$1,000.
for the racks for a $50 lap dance. You see, that's some new age shit.
Oh, that's that Gen Z stuff. All right, I got you. You know you know how to speak that language. I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
But
You better keep up, Kamaru. You better
you
keep up,
said
Kamaru Dean.
you said something that was interesting here. You said for the gesture that Merab was doing for his friend. So had they actually fought Merab versus Aljamain Sterling, what do you think would have happened?
Merab would beat him, dude. Merab would beat him. Yeah.
Really?
Merab would beat him. I
How
think
does he get
Alger
it
would.
done?
I think Alger would get tired, dude. You know, yeah, the same way that he fights everybody. Just scramble out, put the pressure. But it's a hypothetical, dude. So I don't even think we talk about that. But I do feel like if they were to fight, Merab would beat him. I mean, just look at the fashion that he's beating everybody that they both have fought. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Including myself.
No, I think it's a good point. It is what it is. If had that have happened, but I do think in Newark, New Jersey, June 7th, I do think UFC 316. If Sugar Sean O'Malley is able to go out there and get it done, I think they fight for a third time right away. Absolutely, and I think you make Sanhagen, the winner of Sanhagen and your boy
Davison?
Davison Figueroa. I think the winner of them is next in line for that title shot. But
Yeah, but
we'll see.
but where does that leave Umar? Like Umar is one fight away, bro. They're probably gonna
But
do Umar and Song. I
Umar
I
Peter
I I,
Yan.
I think Umar, yeah, Umar, the winner of
Peter
Umar
Yan.
and Peter Yan, or if if Sanhagen does win, maybe you throw him in there. You know what I'm saying? I think
I
that's how it
think.
should be.
Well, I think Merab. If Merab is able to get past Sean O'Malley once again, I do think Merab wants to be active, and he's doing a great job of being that way. So I think if Merab gets through Sean O'Malley relatively the same way, I think Merab versus winner of Davidson Figueroa versus Corey Sanhagen for sure. I think that's an interesting matchup. I think that's someone he hasn't fought before, and I think that's the next fight for those guys.
Yeah,
But Henry, let's not forget Juliana Pena, the dog, is also taking on Kayla Harrison. Both ladies are superb grapplers. They grapple very, very well. The one thing that we can say about Juliana Pena, listen, you might not like the style, you might not say it's the prettiest, but she's got that dog in her. She's willing to bite down, come forward, exchange with you, drag you down. She makes a fight really, really dirty. She gets these ladies uncomfortable, and she's able to pull off the victory. So a two-time champion in Juliana Pena. I mean, some of the biggest upsets we've seen in the ladies division in the organization. I mean, how do you see this fight going down, Henry?
Yeah, no, let me see. Let me see. Oh, she's 34. Yeah, dude. They're Juliana's actually older than Kayla Harrison, and they're both at that. The middle. They're about the same age. 35 for Pena, 34 for Kayla Harrison. But I just feel like the confidence that Kayla Harrison has, it's just different, man. And obviously, Juliana, she's just too much, man. Her striking has gone better. Her grappling is just superior than that. She's a stronger and bigger girl. You know what I'm saying? The question is could Kayla Harrison, and she has shown that she's been able to make 135 pounds and then perform. What she was able to do to Holly Holmes is crazy, man. So I just feel like Kayla Harris is just going to be a little too much for Juliana Pena. It's going to come down to her takedown entries. I think that fight suits her very, very well against Juliana, because it's not like Juliana's a big threat on her feet. We saw her fight the other black belt in Caitlin Vieira, and look at what she did to her. And that girl's better on her feet, and she probably has better damn grappling overall. But Kayla Harrison was able to use her
Better
judo
grappling than who?
entries, huh?
Better grappling than who?
Better than Caitlin Vieira. Caitlin
Better-
Vieira hasn't
Oh,
really
you're,
had
you're
this.
saying okay. So you're saying Kayla Harrison has better grappling
Yes.
and better
Kayla Harrison just
striking.
has better grappling. She's just stronger, bro. It's a strength factor. But there is a dog in Juliana Pena, bro. And I like Juliana, dude. She's misunderstood, bro. Like, she loves her team. Like, when she won the title, dude, I sat first class. I was shooting out to New York, and she gave up her
No
first
flex,
class
light
seat.
flex.
And
Yeah.
she gave up her first class seat to her coach, bro, which says a lot about her. And she's a girl that wants to do it, make it happen, and I think we're gonna hear on you, Kamaru.
Did you just make a prediction? You just slide that in there like it
Yeah,
was
I
nice.
can see Kayla Harrison. I can see Kayla Harrison. Honestly, I can see Kayla Harrison getting her hand raised, dude. Respectfully for Juliana Pena, because she took too damn long, dude, to fight this girl. But that also could have been a strategy too. But it's not like Juliana Pena's young either. You know what I'm saying? I think Kayla Harrison's just a workhorse, dude. A two-time Olympic champ. I mean, who else is at 35 that more likely could challenge her? I don't know if there's
Well,
anybody else, bro.
there's some names there. Don't forget the former champion. You've got what's
Yeah,
her
but the
name?
former
Raquel
champion,
Pennington.
she's gonna do the same thing that
Um,
I did, taking a few years off, and then, hey man, give me my crown. Is that what it is,
now,
Kush?
who are you talking? Who are
Shit
you talking
backfire,
about?
my brother.
No, I'm talking about Raquel Pennington. We've got new blood coming up. We've got Norma Dumont coming up as well.
That's the
So,
one that I want to
you know,
see. But Norma,
so
yeah, Norma Dumont is a real fucking deal. Out of all these girls, the one that could really challenge Kayla, it's her. But I don't want to underestimate Juliana Pena, because she did beat your girl, the hell's it, the goat. Yeah, Nunes.
Amanda
She did. Yeah, she did
Nunes.
beat your
You
girl
know
Amanda
her name.
Nunes.
Say her name. Say her name.
Bilal Muhammad.
Who's that? Dude, Amanda Nunes, the
Amanda
goat.
Nunes.
But let's. It's a very, very interesting fight. We'll get more into that fight as get closer, as we go through the breakdowns and we go through the predictions. But it's an intriguing fight. If there's one thing that about Juliana Pena that you don't do, is count her out. She went out there and she shocked everyone when we counted her out versus Amanda Nunes. Same thing, fighting Raquel Pennington. Most people were kind of counting her out. She went out there and she shocked us again. So, if there's one thing about them, is you don't count out Juliana Pena. And we're starting to kind of see Kayla Harrison now. We're getting accustomed to her kind of coming into to making that weight, because that was a big question mark at first. She's already proved it. She can make the weight, not just once, but she's done it twice. Can she go out there and be dominant? She went out there. She got rid of Holly Holm. And then Most people were still wondering,
Holly Holmes.
Holly Holmes,
Hey.
and most people were still kind of questioning, can she get through a whole 3-round, maybe 5-round fight all the way down it that way? And she proved that going out there and beating Caitlin Vieira. So it's an intriguing fight. I can't wait to kind of dive more into that fight and break that card down. We've got a big announcement. April 26th originally was slated out for Jamal Hill to take on Khalil Roundtree. That fight has now been postponed due to an injury to Jamal Hill. So we're still, obviously, hopefully we hope that we see that fight. But stepping in on, I guess, relatively short notice, Carlos Prates, originally scheduled to face Jeff Neal at UFC 314 in Miami, Florida. Unfortunately, Jeff Neal had to pull out of the fight with an injury or something. Something happened. He had to pull out of the fight. Now we get Carlos Prates versus April 26th in Kansas City. I mean, this is a banging fight. It's a banging fight because Carlos Prates has kind of proved, he's kind of proven himself as, hey, a guy that can headline, a guy that the company can get behind to go out there and deliver a good big show. So I think this is a perfect main event to slide in there. Ian Garry's looking to kind of rebound and get himself back on the winning track. And Carlos Prates, you know how I feel about Prates. He going out there trying to do his thing again. And I mean, these guys, the winner of this fight, definitely, these guys kind of throw their name back into the hat to where they're just a couple of fights away from fighting for that UFC welterweight title.
Yeah. Now, Ian Garry, what number is Ian Garry? Because I know
believe
Carlos
he's maybe 9 or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, so Prates. Okay, so if he is 9, let me see.
Ian Garry is 7.
Ian Garry Machado. He's number 7. We got Kamaru Usman at number 4. Yeah, dude, these dudes. But when I see this fight, what about, is Prates even ranked?
Yes, of course. Prates is down there at
number
13. Right.
But that being said, bro, I feel like we haven't seen enough of the grappling. I was pretty impressed with Ian Garry and how is it that he was able to handle Michael Venom Page. You know what I'm saying? How he was able to strategically beat him. Venom Page ain't no slouch, bro. Now, Carlos Prates does bring a different style. He is more dangerous with his hands, with his knees. He is a smaller version of what Alex Pereira is, with not so much of that crazy power, but very diverse with the striking. But I just feel like Ian Garry, man, for as cringy as he could be, bro, he's dangerous, man. And he's a lot more tactical than we give him credit for, dude. He had a really close fight with Rachmanov, with Shavkat. But that being said, bro, I don't know, man. I think Carlos Prates should have probably. I like this matchup, but if I'm leaning towards somebody, and typically I do go the Brazilian route, I'm gonna have to go with Ian. I'm gonna have to go with Ian Machado Garry, dude, on this one.
Well,
it's just tactically, bro. I think he's gonna look for the takedowns, bro, and I think he's going to succeed, man. He's no joke, Kamaru.
I agree with you. I think one thing that Ian has shown is that he's willing to do what it takes to win the fight, even if it's not pretty. He's willing to do what it takes to go out and try to get that victory. Now, for a guy like Carlos Prates, I just, you don't know unless you don't know. You don't know what you don't know yet. And my man right now is just riding high on it. He's coming in, got that cig on him, bumping that Ross on him. You know what I mean? Carlos Prates don't care. And I'm riding with him, man. I mean, coming into the UFC, 4 fights, all stoppages, no fight getting out of the second round. I like this fight for Carlos Prates. I think if Carlos Prates is able to go out there and discourage Ian Garry with his shots, I mean, both guys are going to strike. Both guys are going to kick. Ian Garry is very, very good with those low kicks and basically trying to keep the range here. So it's going to be interesting to watch what Carlos Prates is going to do, how he's going to approach it to try to discourage Ian Garry from wanting to potentially change levels. But
and it's 5 rounds, Kamaru.
Exactly. It's 5 rounds.
You want to put a bet on this? You want to put a couple? You want to put a couple eggs on it?
Bruh,
to crack on that dome of yours, dude.
Listen, you already behind, Henry. I don't want to break an egg on that head again. I don't want to break an egg on that
talk
head
is
again.
cheap, Kamaru Dean. What's up?
Let's bet the 50 that you just bet. Let's bet the 50 that you just bet. Actually, you know what? We got some time before this fight does approach, so I'm sure we're gonna really break down this fight a little bit more.
All right, we'll think of closer. We'll think of something. But I will say this, Kamaru, those SIGs may catch up, dude. Those SIGs.
Hey,
I don't know,
chill out.
5-round fight.
Carlos Prates is in the building. Listen, don't worry about the SIG. He's straight. He's straight out here. He's straight. Don't worry about that. But moving on, my guy.
No. Let me have at this one, bro. Did you hear the beef that's going on right now with you probably don't remember his name, but Bilal Muhammad and JDM. The UFC had put their trust in me to save the welterweight division. This fight will be done in one. Jack Della Magdalena makes me want to do the Macarena. And then we get Bilal Muhammad to respond. He says, just when I was about to donate to your fundraiser so your coaches can come, enjoy your Spirit Airlines. Jesus, man. So apparently there's the whole story behind all this, Kamaru, is apparently JDM was raising money for a lot of his coaches. Remember, he lives in Australia, bro. He's not the champ yet. Right. And obviously, I'm not sure if he has kids or whatnot, but dude, it's expensive in this world. And apparently he was fundraising money for his camp or whatnot, and for his coaches to go, maybe some other people, which we get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very humble thing to do. Put your pride aside and do that. And then now Bilal Muhammad, is coming at him saying, hey, man, I was about to fundraise, but you know what? Now I'm putting you on Spirit Airlines. Who's never flown Spirit, it's like the Greyhound of the air. I get it, bro. Everything goes with me. You know what I'm saying? Everything goes with me, but that's kind of
you want entertainment when you fly. Spirit Airline definitely is gonna entertain you from what I've seen online. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe what you say his name was. Obviously, he knows Muhammad. Obviously, he knows what that's like on there on Spirit. But I don't know. But I mean, is
that too low? Is Bilal Muhammad going a little too low, bro, on that? Especially, he's not, listen, I don't think guy, Muslim.
I don't think that's
that too much, Kamaru?
I don't think that's what that's very Muslim-esque. I don't think that we don't care about that. So it is what it is. Like you said before, this is a guy that really is. For as much as you say you don't like Covington for what Covington did to get to the top of the division and how he talks to people, you're not far from it right now. And I think a lot of fans see that, and a lot of fans understand that as well. But it is what it is. These two guys
so you're gonna put them at the Kobe level.
I mean,
the Middle Eastern Kobe level. Is that fair to say?
Listen, it is what it is. For what it is, at least these two guys are going to be able to step in there and actually, settle it. So, I mean, I'm excited for that. I think that fight is taking place May 10th, I believe, in Canada. So, hey, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one. Ilia Topuria is still calling for that title shot that he wants versus Islam Makhachev. And Topuria said, hey, the UFC promised me a title shot. That's why I vacated. I completely understand. And yes, obviously that is why someone would vacate. If you tell me, all right, you're going to get the next shot at the lightweight, then for sure. And I don't think it's on the UFC. I think the UFC is working on trying to make that fight. But, it's the champion's decision at this point. The champion can say, I don't really necessarily want that fight because I've continuously given the featherweight champion cracks at this title, and hey, they can get it done. So why should I do it again? So it is what it is. I do think, hey, I think it's a fantastic fight. Um, I don't, Islam has his reasons of why that fight is not taking place, but yeah, I don't think it's up. I think the UFC is trying to make that fight, and I do believe Ilia Topuria saying that, yeah, they promised him that title shot. That's why he vacated the belt. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, Henry.
Well, we'll pull up my quote. You want to read my quote, Kamaru Usman? You tell me if am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't think it's Islam's choice. Khabib will step in and say no to Topuria for that reason. My guess is Islam versus Justin Gaethje.
Can I give you my explanation on why, and then you can
Yeah,
can
Go
reply?
ahead. Go ahead.
King Kamaru Dean.
Go
The
ahead,
simple
Henry.
fact that you have to understand, dude, that Khabib is playing his dad's role now. It's a role of respect and honor. Like, you know what I'm saying? We even talked to Ali. It's like, hey, if Khabib's dad was still alive, that motherfucker wouldn't be retired. You know what I'm saying? Like 100%. He's telling him, he's like, he's gonna do what his dad says, and that's all there is to it. Until his dad says, all right, man, you're done. You know what I'm saying? They have that same level of respect for Khabib because now he is playing that role of what his father has done to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if there's a bad clot, it doesn't even fall on Islam. It falls on Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Islam just has to say, yeah. Islam just pretty much says what Khabib is going to do, and it's not like he's his commander in chief, but he's his brother. Like they represent something that's just different. I mean, to a lot of people who are probably listening to what I have to say, they're probably like, dude, this dude's out of his damn mind. But no, bro, when you guys truly understand these dudes and understand their culture and how they take faith, competition all to an extreme, there's levels of layers of respect for that. So for that reason, it's not as crazy as it sounds. It's not going to be up to Islam Makhachev. It's going to be up to Khabib Nurmagomedov. So Khabib Nurmagomedov could be the bad cop. You know what I'm saying? Islam will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. If he had his choice, he's going up to 170 pounds and he's fighting Bilal Muhammad and potentially beating him. But it's up to Khabib Nurmagomedov, dude. So go ahead, Kamar. Give me what you got. Hit me with your best shot.
I think you're on to something, Henry. I think you're on to something. I think it's first and foremost, Islam is his own man, but you are onto something because in this game, especially with them, you want to be respectful to the people who have given you the opportunities and been by your side all throughout, and so you take obviously their decisions into consideration when making your own decision. And so, I mean, that's what almost every wise man would do. So I definitely understand that. Um, it's a situation like this, I think, yeah, it's Islam you got two choices. Either you take on Ilia Topuria, which I do think it's a really, really big fight. You take on Ilia Topuria, or I can see Justin Gaethje versus Islam Makhachev, International Fight Weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada. I can definitely see that. I think both fights are humongous fights. It just depends on what Islam wants to do here, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I do think he's definitely taking into consideration what Khabib and the team are saying, because that's his team. Those are his guys. Those are guys that have been with him from the start, and those are guys that are riding with him. So I definitely think he's going to take that into consideration. But I think it's going to go one of two ways. Either we take on Ilia Topuria, or Islam Makhachev versus Justin Gaethje. And I'm calling it right now. International Fight Week. Let's go.
Yeah, but what do you think is going to
freaking go?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is why I do feel like Khabib's gonna say no. Khabib's gonna say this, bro. And you go back and watch my damn interview because he said it. He said it on tape, bro, for pound when I interviewed him in Las Vegas, and he says it is not fair for this guy, especially because. And I get it. Volkanovski's already went up a couple of times, and he's fought him, so he's already being claimed. Oh, you're picking on smaller guys. You know what I'm saying? Khabib said, he says, we will not challenge him unless he goes to the number one contender. He's like, yes, and then you deserve. But right now, Islam's already done that. You know what I'm saying? They do have a quote of Islam Makhachev saying, anytime, anywhere, what does it about represent if you're not willing to fight anybody? But it's a different case, bro. It's a different case when you have a mentor, coach. You can even call him a prophet in Khabib Nurmagomedov. It changes the game, Kamaru Dean.
I get that. I do get that. But I think one thing here is we have to understand is this is a fight business. There's really no metric. There's no merit to how this is done. If the company is saying, hey, this is the next guy up, hey, pay me and I'll do my job. That's all it is. Pay me, I'll do my job. I don't care if this guy's coming up or this guy's going down. It doesn't matter. Pay me, I'll step in there, I'll do my job. When it comes to this weight class, this lightweight at 155 pounds, it doesn't matter who's in front of me. I'm going to do my job because once you're the champion and you're defending time and time again, hey, it's about that paper. So, hey, I'm going to do my job. And that's that. But before we go real quick, I want to touch on something. Another big signee that might have flew under the radar, Henry, if you didn't know. Haraguchi, Japanese, Japanese.
That sounds X-rated, by the way, Kamar, the way you said that shit.
Haraguchi. Pause, Henry. Jesus. Can't get through one without a pause. But listen. The UFC signs Haraguchi, formerly in the UFC, but then went out, has dominated at Ryzen, and went out and fought for the Bellator title as well. Yeah. So Haraguchi is making his a way back to the UFC, and I mean, what an addition to add to that flyweight division because that is heating up big time. Yeah, you've got Manel Kopp, you've got Haraguchi, you've got Pantoja, you've got don't forget the Mexican what do you want to call
McLovin.
McLovin. You got Moreno, you've got Kai Kara France. But listen, I think this is a great sign for the UFC. I think it makes everything a lot more interesting. But we do know that Manel Kopp is probably going to be on that short list, who I do think is next for that title shot. But anything could happen. The UFC knows what they're doing, and they are stacking each and every division. Henry.
Yeah, no, it's going good. I'm just gonna do a quick thing on Haraguchi. He was 7-1 in the UFC. He won the Bellator world title. He won the Ryzen world title. To me, when I was in Fly, when we were both in the same division, other than Demetrius Johnson, who is his only loss, he was a guy that I was just like, dude. He was a guy I was just like, man, the biggest threat to me stylistically, his stance, his motion, his explosive power. He even has grappling, just a different style to prepare for. But I personally see that we're looking at the future champ, dude, at the flyweight division, 125 pounds, and I think I will bet 50 racks on that.
No, you mean $50? Stop saying racks. Dollars.
No, but you know why I say racks? You go to the strip. You know what I'm saying? That's for the.
I don't know what you say.
That's for the 50 Henry, racks.
I don't know what you say, but Henry, as promised, don't forget. As promised, we have a very, very special interview with the former 2-division champion, the guy with the most wins in Bellator history, Mr. Patricio Pitbull. Let's get into that interview now. Guys, we are back with a special, and when I say special, I put the emphasis on special guest today, a man that I said this before, but this man really needs no introduction to the MMA community, to the martial arts community, boxing, kickboxing, it doesn't matter. I mean, let's just name off some of the records before I introduce his name. Most wins in Bellator history, most finishes in Bellator history, the one and only simultaneous 2-division champion in Bellator history, making his long-awaited UFC debut April 12th, UFC Miami. That is UFC 314. It is the one and only Mr. Patricio Pitbull.
Thank you for that, my friend. Sounds good.
What's up, my friend?
I am very thankful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricio. I mean, to the MMA community, to the martial arts community, you're a man that really needs no introduction. You've done it all. You've seen it all. You've been to the mountaintops and stayed there for years. And I know a lot of people have just kind of gone since the dismantling of Bellator. A lot of people just wondered, okay, is he going to retire? Is he done? But all of a sudden, out of the blue, boom, finally, you're up here in the UFC now. How does that feel to finally get to, put your name out there to go and chase and be the best, considered the best in the world in UFC? How does that feel?
It feel for me that's about legacy. I was in Bellator for many years. As a champion like since 2014, and now I can make my debut in UFC, and I'm very happy for that. I can prove myself. I can prove to everyone I can go to the UFC and take that belt.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I know I know there's that thing for years. If you're the UFC champion, you are considered the best in the world. Did you ever feel like you were the best in the world, but not having an opportunity to showcase that
or the
because you weren't in
respect.
the UFC
I think the respect. Did
and
you?
getting, of course, that respect as the best in the world?
Uh, yes. Everyone knows UFC is the biggest place to ever fight and to compete and show to everyone who is the best. So I know in my mind and my heart I am the best, but I know I have to prove that. So UFC is the right place to do that, and I'm fine with this. So the dream come true. Let's see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think what's amazing about Patricio's career, because if there's, I've known Patricio for quite some time now. I mean, if there's anybody that I spent time with and emulated and stole a lot of his style, it's because of him. Short in stature, explosive, understanding distance, composure. He's always in position. I think Patricio is that uncrowned champion that is not respected. Like he really does belong in Gold Mountain, dude, along with GSP, Anderson Silva. I mean, even if you talk to a lot of these Brazilian fighters, they always give credit to. It's almost like I almost feel like they feel like Patricio is like the godfather of MMA for what he's done for the sport, but he has not got that credit. I mean, let me just put it to you this way, Kamaru. He got rid of Michael Chandler in a minute and 35 seconds, I believe, or just under a little over a minute. I mean, talk about the
61
power.
seconds.
60 seconds?
61.
A minute and 1 second. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
My bad. But just at the minute mark, it just lets you know that this man was able to make 135 pounds. The first fighter to be able to fight in 3 different divisions. He didn't get the belt. Obviously, we all know that it was the weight cut, but still to have the ability to do that in Michael Chandler, just so people can understand and fathom what a guy could do to somebody that's very highly recognized. Now, now Patricio, you're going up against Yair Rodriguez. Who, obviously, I know there was a lot of names that were thrown out there. Like, who did you want to fight first before you went to Yair Rodriguez? We all know that Yair is different. He's tall. He's rangy. I mean, you're 5'5". He's close to 6 foot. You know what I'm saying? There's a big height advantage there. But why Yair Rodriguez for your first comeback?
I would like to face the champion, but I know that the belt is without a champion right now because Leandro Porter go to the lightweight division. Like in a boxing match, if you put another champion for different organization, when he comes, he gonna fight for the title. But I know it's impossible now. I, to be real, I don't care about that. But I know Yair Rodriguez is the top 5 contender, and it should me put me in a good place in featherweight division. And I don't choose him. UFC offered me a lot of guys, and all these guys was saying no to me. and I always say yes, I can fight him.
Can you name everybody who said no to you?
Aljamain Sterling was the first.
Yeah.
Yair Rodriguez was the second. O terceiro, Matheus, foi a luta contra Edson Barbosa que caiu, eu ia substituir, mas dessa vez meu visto que não conseguia sair. E tem outros caras que eu não queria falar porque o UFC não confirmou mesmo.
And the third option was to fight Steve Garcia as Edson Barbosa replacement, but they said the paperwork wouldn't come in time for my visa. It was 12 days notice and I had said yes. Then there were other names that were brought up to me, but not through the UFC. Some people asked me, hey, is it true they're fighting this guy? I heard from them. But as I didn't hear the names from the UFC, I prefer not to say anything because I'm not real sure how real that was.
Aí teve pelo menos mais uns três aí.
But there were at least 3 other names that I heard about. People saying they were offered a fight against me, and they said no.
He's feared, bro. Have you seen
Of
his?
course,
Have you
of
seen this
course.
guy's highlights at 145 pounds? Fuck.
Of course, I know Patricio. Okay, so Patricio, now that's I understand that. I mean, you are you're a very, very dangerous opponent coming in. I mean, champion since 2014. Of course, everyone knows the resume in the sport of MMA. So, it's no secret that you're not going to be the favorite for guys to be picking and saying, "Oh, I want to fight that guy next or that guy next." So, it's understandable that guys are going to turn you down right away. But speaking of Yair Rodriguez, when you look at Yair Rodriguez and all the just highlight special things that he's done in the UFC, what about his game do you look at and you say, wow, this guy is dangerous. I need to watch out for that. And what else about his game do you say, I can exploit that. He has that hole that I can exploit.
Okay, everyone knows he's very dynamic and he has good kicks, but he needs to keep distant to put his game to work. So every guy who close the distance and punish him or put him down and explode on the ground pound,
Right,
he get trouble. So basically, I'm gonna do the same.
right.
I know he's dangerous, but I'm more dangerous than him. Minha principal estratégia, posso falar aqui abertamente, que eu já falei em outras entrevistas, vai ser fazer o que Volkanovski e Frank Edgar fez. Mas não se surpreenda se eu nocautear ele em pé.
My main strategy, I can say openly because I've said so in other interviews, is going to be doing what Volkanovski and Frankie Edgar did to him. But do not be surprised if I knock him out on the feet.
I don't think anyone will be surprised. I mean, you have the most finishes in Bellator history. So everybody knows a finish can come either with your hands or with the submission as well. Now, Yair Rodriguez, like you mentioned, he's got dynamic kicks and this guy is very, very flashy. But there's one thing also that we've seen now that plays a big part in some of these guys, previous guys coming into the UFC for the first time. They might be huge in other organizations, but they come into the UFC, then they see the production, they see the show, they see all of these different things, and some guys just can't handle that right away. Is there anything that you've done to prepare yourself for when you walk out there and it's 20, 25,000 people in the arena all screaming and cheering? Is there anything you've done to prepare yourself to not feel any of that pressure at all?
So let me say this. I was born like that. If you touch me with violence, I'm gonna bite you. I don't care about atmosphere, how many people, who is watching me. I'm gonna smash and fucking kill this guy.
Yeah, oof.
So with the division right now at 145 pounds, like let's say you do get past Yair Rodriguez, and let's say you don't get to title shot, because I do feel like for what you've done in combat sports, Patricio Pitbull has never lost a rematch. I don't know if you know that, Kamaru. The people who has beaten Patricio Pitbull on the rematches, he has always won. AJ McKee, Strauss. Like, dude, for people who don't know who those dudes are, dude, those dudes are the toughest fighters, in my opinion, at 145 pounds at that time. Obviously, AJ has gone up, and I'm not sure what Strauss is doing now. With a win over Yair Rodriguez, if you don't get the next title shot, which I believe you do. I believe that it's a case. What are you going to say on the mic is going to be the most important thing. You have to challenge whoever it is that wins out of Diego Lopez and Alexander Volkanovski. But if you don't, for whatever reason, don't get that title shot, who do you see in that top 5 that you would want next?
I really don't care, but we have maybe FYF or some guy like that. I don't care. I'm gonna face anyone and I'm gonna beat anyone. I don't care.
Yeah.
Patricio, you've been at this for quite some time now. Like you mentioned, you've been champion in Bellator since 2014. Now, there was a lot of talk of the whole merger with Bellator and PFL merging together. Um, and naturally, we felt that a lot of people felt that you would go into PFL. What went on? What took place with that merger to where instead of you going into the PFL, you just decided, let me go over to the UFC?
Eu tava com o caso encerrado com o PFL porque o Bellator foi minha casa por muitos anos, mas tudo mudou. A organização foi comprada pelo PFL e apesar de eu ter um bom número em relação a valores lá, não estava mais confortável em tratar sobre o negócio com esses caras. Então eu preferi, na altura da minha carreira, seguir com o UFC, que era o que realmente faltava dentro da minha trajetória.
The relationship was over because when they bought Bellator, a lot of things changed, and I didn't want to do business with them anymore. So what I decided was if I was going to continue, I would do so with the UFC because that's what was really missing on my career and not with them.
I know a lot of things kind of went public with the PFL. I mean, now a little bit that you got the taste on how the UFC runs it. How do you compare the UFC versus the PFL and Bellator? And how's it that they actually run their event? Is there a reason why the UFC is the best promotion in the world?
Well, Henry hasn't fought yet. Let
No,
him
no,
get to a fight week, and
no,
then we can
no.
ask
But
that.
but no, but it's a fair question because you talked about it. The pressure, the media, you know what I'm saying? Like the lights, the camera, like everything's done well. I've been to these other events where you're like, dude, that shit looks better on TV. Like typically when the UFC puts on an event, like it's the real Hollywood, bro. You know? I mean, so far from what you've seen from the UFC so far, Patricio, like how do you analyze the organization?
Matheus, a principal diferença é o compromisso, o profissionalismo. Eu acho que o PFL tem tudo para crescer, pode ser uma organização próspera, mas agora não é. Os caras pegaram um evento que já estava grande, como o Bellator, enterraram a marca, preferiram pilotar o PFL, que é um evento que não consegue lotar um anfiteatro, e parecia aqueles caras que dirigiam um Fusca e começavam a dirigir uma Ferrari, não sabiam o que fazer. Então a sensação que eu tive foi exatamente essa. E o UFC é o evento mais tradicional, tá há mais de 30 anos no mercado. E, pô, os caras ajudaram a inventar o MMA, então não tem comparação. Os caras estão em outro nível.
Where I see the most is the difference in professionalism, the commitment. PFL bought Bellator. It was an organization that was big, would sell our arena sometimes, and they buried it to focus on PFL. And PFL, they can't sell a small theater. And also, I know they can grow, but they have a lot of things to work on. They have a lot of things to improve in order to do that. And as far as the UFC goes, have over 30 years of history. They pretty much made MMA what it is today. They know everything that is. They build a lot of things in this game, so they're not trying to copy anyone. That's what I've seen. That's the most different between them. PFL is like They had just bought their first car, a cheap car, and then they decided to buy a Ferrari, and they didn't know how to drive it. That's how it looks like to me right now.
Okay, April 12th, UFC 314 in Miami. Obviously, you've been in tons and tons and tons of fights. And like you mentioned, this is a dream come true and an opportunity for you to finally be able to put that flag down, or you finally be able to put your name in there as, hey, I am the best in the world, or I have been one of the best in the world for years and years and years. And you've been announced so many times. I'm sure you've been to UFC fights and UFC shows. How is that going to feel for you when you finally hear former two-division world champion Patricio Pitbull? How is that going to feel when Bruce Buffer finally announces your name?
I know it will be fantastic. I really don't know how to describe that, but it's in 1 week we're gonna see this. I'm very happy, you know. Since I was a child, I that was my dream to fight in the UFC, and now it's gonna happen. But my main focus in the fight, I'm gonna put a great performance and maybe fight for a title next. That's my goal.
Yeah. Patricio, you know what's ironic, man, is the fact that you and Volkanovski, there's a big talks of you guys fighting back when you guys were both champions. Now you guys are on the same card. And I remember that you challenged at that time because you wanted to be recognized as the best in the world. And in my eyes, when you're 145 pounds, and I've always said this, I'm like, dude, this is the pound for pound. Like this is the real champion at 145 pounds. You may get that opportunity. But I will say this: you did say at one point, Volkanovski, UFC, I challenge you to $1 million bet. If I win, you guys give me $1 million. If I lose, I will pay you $1 million. Does that bet still stand, Patricio Ferreira?
100%.
Whoa, Henry.
Let's make it happen. Yes. Fuck yeah. Let's do that.
Let's Henry. Henry, why you gonna put my man on the spot like that? Huh?
No, look, notice what he said. He said, "Fuck yes, fuck
Yeah,
yes."
let's get the money first.
Dude,
Let's
hey,
get the money first.
You want to know, like, dude, these motherfuckers are gangster. Come on, like him and his brother, they don't fuck around. They say what they're gonna do, man.
Patricio, I know there has been a lot of talks of whether you're gonna be done, and because champions like yourself, champions like Douglas Lima, you guys have been at the top of the Bellator game for years and years and years, and pretty much dominated and kind of helped grow those companies. There was a lot of talks of you potentially being done, but for you now finding a new playground in the UFC, how much longer do you think you want to do this?
Eu tive uma lesão na cervical, onde eu me submeti à cirurgia e agora me sinto totalmente recuperado. Isso me trouxe algumas perdas da minha capacidade de desempenho. Infelizmente, eu não consegui o terceiro título no Bellator contra o Sérgio Prates. Eu tomei um golpe onde geralmente eu não sinto e acabei sentindo mais forte. E uma luta também no Japão, que aconteceu aquele nocaute. Mas logo me recuperei depois de um ano, consegui uma vitória sobre o Jeremy Kennedy. E a gente sabe que ali eu tava como se fosse um lutador imbatível e chegou essa realidade. E agora também tenho uns 37 anos. Mas grandes lutadores fizeram grandes feitos após essa idade. A gente tem Poatan, que teve o título até poucos meses, então existe também uma marca no UFC que não foi quebrada acima dos 35 anos, nenhum lutador da categoria de peso mais leve conseguiu atingir esse objetivo, mas cravo que eu tô falando, eu vou pegar o cinturão.
Yeah, I had a very serious neck injury back in 2023, and that affected my performances a lot. I fought Sergio Pettis right at the beginning of the fight. I took a shot that I wouldn't feel it otherwise, and that was in my way for the entirety of the fight. And then I had that 4-day notice fight in Japan at lightweight. I got knocked out, something that I never imagined happening. Before
Hey,
those two
Matheus,
fights, everyone. Wait,
eu lutei de 61 e poucos dias depois eu lutei de 70.
yes, I fought 135, and less than a month later, with 4 days notice, I fought at 155. And dealing with that injury, which led me to surgery, but I didn't have most of my strength at the time. I couldn't do anything properly, and I was delaying surgery. But after that, I had the surgery done, and I recovered all my strength, all my power, all my explosiveness since then. And I had a title defense after that against Jeremy Kennedy, and I knocked him out in the third round. So I think that fight I showed everyone that I was back, and that all those issues were past me, or the neck injury hindering my performances. So right now I'm coming to UFC. I feel the best that I ever was, and we had guys my age doing big things like Poatan. We're born on the same date, and until a few weeks ago he was a champion. And there are other guys that were champions in UFC after 37 years old. And I know there's a saying, there's a record that has to be broken, that in the lighter weight classes, no fighter above 35 has won the title. So I'm here to do that. I'll be the first one to do that.
Let's go, Cejudo. Let's do the same.
Dude, Kamaru too, man. Look at Kamaru too, bro. The Kamaru fucking.
Hey, I'm
Oh,
coming.
yeah.
I'm coming for. You know it. I'm coming for that belt. But Patricio, before we let you go, April 12th, UFC 314 live in Miami, Florida. Yourself versus Yair Rodriguez. You step in there. Referee goes, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do it." How do you get it done?
Um, I'm gonna win. It's done like this as a champion. In my mind, I'm still defending my belt.
All right. So we just get the win, or are we anything special? Are we knocking him out, or are we submitting him? What are you going to finish him, or what's going on? How do we stop him?
I'm gonna smash him.
It's good. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. All right, Patricio, my man, we appreciate you coming on, man. It's been long awaited for the fans to actually see you now step into UFC, because we know obviously mixed martial arts is such a big community, but a majority of that community is UFC fans.
Yeah.
And now you get a chance to really show them why you've been champion for so long. So I want to say, man, congratulations on finally getting in here in the UFC and getting your opportunity to show the world. I will be watching April 12th. Good luck to you, my man, and we can't wait to see you go to work.
I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you very much, my friend. See you there.
All right.
Later, Patricio. See you, Mateos.
See you, brother. Thank you, Cejudo.